Okay, so whoops, sorry. In yesterday's video, showed you that we got a new generator and been running it quite a bit. I mean, it's been cloudy. Now, for the trolls, they're going to tell me, you don't live off grid if you're running a generator all the time. There's another couple around here that lives off grid also, and they don't have a generator because, you know, they want to be true off-gridders. But they're on Facebook asking anybody to borrow a generator because their batteries are dead. It's been cloudy for 2 weeks. I mean, this has been a long stretch of rain and clouds, and that just happens. And your batteries just aren't going to last forever. So, you know, I have lead acid, and I know there's a huge downside to that, but I see lots of positives with it, pros and cons on both. That I charge my batteries every day to make sure that I don't wear out my batteries. And they're what, 6 years old now? So I mean, they're really old, doing really well. I just make sure that I charge them every day. So anyway, let's see, there's 10 hours on it right now, and so let's see, trying to remember what I did. I can't remember. It doesn't matter, but shortly after I showed you the video, I had to run the ultrasonic cleaner. Maybe I ran it for 3 hours. I guess maybe I ran it for 3 hours. And then I had to run the ultrasonic cleaner because we got this job, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And so that ran for an hour. And then I ran it 3 hours last night, ran it 3 hours this morning. But at 5 hours, I changed the oil, because you're supposed to change the oil after 5 hours, because there might be some metal shavings from manufacturing. Of course, they use all that grease in there and different things that you got to get cleaned up. So changed the oil, and now we're at 10 hours. And I'm running it right now because we went grocery shopping, and so now the freezer won't shut off for 3 days because we bought meat, and since it's cloudy, I got to run the generator. So I just run the battery charger 10 amps. I'm not needing to charge the batteries, but just so I'm not running off the batteries, I just run the generator low speed 10 amps, and I'll probably run that all day and then all night. Of course, they'll probably run out of gas in the middle of the night. So the remainder of the night I will run off batteries. I think it's going to be sunny tomorrow, so that's a break. Oh, I know what it was. I had to fill the water yesterday after we got this generator. Carolyn wanted to do laundry. That's what it was. And again, cloudy, so she didn't have a choice. And, you know, when it's cloudy, you're just out of electric. But it's still cheaper. You figure all summer I haven't ran that generator hardly at all. So, but I guess the thing I want to report is it's doing a fantastic job. It's quiet, a lot quieter than the Power Smart. It's not as quiet as the Champions. I mean, Champions are nice generators, but it's also running at a higher RPM because it's lower wattage, lower CC, or lower CC, I should say. So it's got to run a higher RPM to get the same amount of wattage. And but it's really nice. So we'll see tomorrow, I guess, after I run it all day and all night. Fill it up before I go to bed. So got this in yesterday. It's a log splitter, obviously, and said I wouldn't start. He thinks it was a carburetor. So first thing he said was when he dropped it off is he wanted this replaced because it's broke. So I replaced that. I ordered one of those, and then I cleaned the carburetor. Now, something that's important to know is this is a Predator. This engine is a Predator. You get them at Harbor Freight for 150 bucks. So that's like a 6 horsepower engine. And what it is, it's basically a clone of the Honda engine. Most everything's the same. I mean, there's a few minor differences. Well, I guess it depends if you're needing to replace parts or not. But there's a few differences, basically like in sizes of things. But for the most part, it's a Honda engine. And it works just like a Honda engine. So but it's it's 150 bucks instead of 500 bucks or 600 bucks. So working on these is kind of tricky, because buying the parts, I don't know how they make any money selling the engine because the parts prices are equivalent. So anyway, I cleaned the carburetor, and I have a price for cleaning the carburetor. I mean, I should be able to get paid, that's the thing. And then I had to buy this whole assembly, because that's how it came. You couldn't just buy the cap. You had to buy, well, it doesn't matter. This is broke too. So this, both these pieces are broke. So bought the whole assembly and cleaned the carburetor, and then I flushed out the gas tank like I always do, because there's water in it, and it just poured out rust. So it's a rusty gas tank. So I had to buy a new gas tank. The problem is, now somebody's going to say, of course, that I should just repaired it, sealed it up, cleaned it, but the price would have been the same. So, you know, a lot of people tell me what I should do, but what they don't realize is it's the same cost. So why go through all that? Why beat yourself to death wasting time when you just buy a new part and stick it on 3 bolts? It's done. So anyway, but the other thing you gotta understand is this engine's $150. So let's say I spent 2 hours cleaning that tank. I wouldn't be able to charge for it. So I'm cleaning the tank, sealing it for the same cost, you know, the sealant and the cleaning material, for the same cost of buying a tank. Plus, then I don't get paid anything for doing it. So why not just buy one, is my point. So $150 for this engine. So you do have to ask yourself, is it even worth working on? Because once you start putting your labor cost on it, cleaning the carburetor, buying a couple pieces, the price literally came out to the same price of what the engine was going to cost. And like I've told you in the past, I don't charge that much. Now, I've always charged one set price for the carburetor cleaning. And I don't see why I should change that. It's a reasonable cost. Here's the thing, I could buy a new carburetor, put it on, you know, take the old one off, put a new one on, and it's basically the same cost. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than what I charge for cleaning, about $5 more. So it doesn't make sense to, you know, to lose that money. I should get the money, if I can, by cleaning it. So I cleaned it. Now the question is did I rip the customer off? And you know, part of me feels like, yeah, I ripped the customer off. I should have just went out and bought a new engine. Of course, then I would have to, you know, put it on. And so I don't know exactly how to handle things like this. It was not a lot of work, and there's just not a lot of cost in what I did here, but the engine is just so cheap that it would have been cheaper to just go buy a new engine. And it probably, since he's already done it, been better for him to do it himself. So I wouldn't have made any money on this job. I don't know what the answer is. I told him everything I was going to do, so he didn't question any of it. I didn't tell him the cost. What I told him was I ordered you a new piece, I cleaned the carburetor, and the gas tank was rusty, so I ordered a new gas tank. He said, okay, thanks. So apparently he's not worried about the cost. Surely he knows what a new engine would cost. And, you know, if he's, I don't know if, you know, I can understand that I want to tell a customer, you know, they have a used lawnmower, it's going to be $500, they can sell it for. And I look at it and it's going to be $500 to work on. I'll tell the customer, look, it's not worth working on anymore. You can buy it off Facebook Marketplace for the same price, 500 bucks. But here, I mean, he would have known, because he replaced this engine. That would have been his doing. He would have known how much that cost. Now, of course, if he had me put on a new engine, there would be labor costs in that. But what is it? It's 4 bolts here, 4 bolts there. It comes off, you put a new one on, and you're done. There's just nothing to doing this. So what I did to kind of compensate a little bit, the new air filter housing is coming with a new air filter. The gas tank is coming with a new spark plug. So I went ahead and changed the oil, and I adjusted the valves just so I can say I also did a service. So it didn't sound like that I was, you know, gouging him. I can say, well, I did the service, which I actually have a set price for that too. It's the same price as what I charge for a carburetor. So now he's getting the service and all of it, and new gas tank, new air filter housing. It shouldn't sound so bad, because I don't count, in my mind, I don't count servicing any engine towards the cost of the lawnmower. Servicing is something you got to do. You just have to do it. It's just part of the cost of the lawnmower. So let's say you spend $500 on the lawnmower. But through the life of the lawnmower that you've owned it, you have to spend another $500. So the actual cost of that lawnmower is $1,000. That's how much it costs to own that lawnmower. So that's not part of the cost of repairs and maintenance and my labor and all that. So to me, I feel like I might be gouging, but I tried to be fair and go ahead and do the service basically for free, just since everything else was getting changed out anyways. Hopefully, the nice thing is he's used me before on the lawnmower, and he wanted to replace the engine. He said the engine needed replaced. Well, when I got it, it didn't need replaced. He put diesel fuel in the gas tank, so it started smoking. Well, he thought he blew the engine, but I just took the diesel out, put a new carburetor on because it was leaking, and you know, I don't know what it cost, but it was definitely cheaper than a new engine. His son has brought his lawnmower over a few times, and now his brother has brought over a lawnmower, and I fixed everything. So they're really happy with my service. So I don't think he's going to be disappointed in the price. I don't think the price is an issue with him. As a matter of fact, when his brother came over with his lawnmower, he came over to tell me more information about the lawnmower, and he said, I think you should just replace the harness. And I said, well, the harness is going to be $500. The mower's not worth that much. And he says, don't worry about money, he's got it. So, you know, I guess I got money. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. These Predator engines, to me, they're hard to pass up. You got a Honda engine that is gone. It just seems to me, instead of getting it repaired by a mechanic like me, I think the best thing to do is just get yourself a new engine. Find out what the shaft size is, the size of the engine. I think you probably go to Harbor Freight and ask them, you know, I got this size Honda engine, what Predator engine do I need? They might be able to cross-reference. It might be cross-referenced on Google even. They're just so cheap. You can make yourself a go-kart with this engine, because it's it's the horizontal shaft. So it's a really good engine. Everybody talks about how great they are. I don't have any clue. This is the first one I've ever worked on. I've never had to work on one because I assume that a person is going to know that it's going to be cheaper to just buy a new engine. Leave gas in the carburetor. Oops, I made a mistake, left gas in the carburetor. I'll get a new engine. It's almost that cheap. If they take this thing down to the city, the big town next to us, the minimum charge would be $100. So, and then they change the carburetor, you know, get a carburetor for it, another $40. Just well, get yourself a new engine. So, at least with this, he's getting a few new parts, and an oil change, new spark plug, and new air filter. So if you'll click this up next box, take you a video over to my other channel. We appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you, to get through the cloudy days, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.